How much tax do the rich really pay, and should they be paying more? Currently, the top 1% of earners pay around 30% of all income in the UK. But there have been recent calls for the super rich to pay more ahead of this week's budget, with a group of 30 MPs writing to Chancellor Rachel Reeves, urging her to introduce a 2% levy on assets worth more than £10 million. They claim it could raise around £24 billion per year. However, a new paper by the Taxpayers Alliance argues the UK could suffer a hit of nearly £100 billion to its GDP in a decade if this wealth tax is introduced. The report says rather than generating revenue for the exchequer, an exodus of the wealthy would mean a wealth tax levied on the top 1% would result in a reduction of taxable wealth of around £260 billion. The paper also said the UK economy would be especially vulnerable to a tax on individuals' net wealth due to the proportion of non-fixed assets. The dominance of the UK's services sector means that unlike an economy powered by agriculture, mining and manufacturing, businesses would find it far easier to emigrate, according to the author of the study. The period of ultra-low interest rates and quantitative easing between 2009 and 2022 prompted a ballooning in asset values and has prompted growing calls for a wealth tax. But any momentum behind the proposal has often been dampened by well-documented practical pitfalls, including difficulties to evaluate an individual's net wealth and the ever-present risk of a phenomenon known as capital flight, meaning rich people leaving the country to avoid the tax. Chief Executive of the Taxpayers Alliance, John O'Connell, says imposing a wealth tax would be the peak of economic madness, given the UK's vulnerability to capital flight, and the long-term hit to the GDP would be catastrophic. Here at City AM, we would like to know, do you think a wealth tax should be introduced? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.